Hello and welcome. I'm Sam with AirIn Tech, and today we're going to discuss some of my recommendations for GitLab best practices. We're going to discuss GitLab issues, how to use them, and how to make branches within a Git repository on GitLab, and then how to apply corrections or features to those branches and merge them back to master using Git merge requests. Let's get started. A quick overview of the development workflow that I'm suggesting is to, at all costs, prevent corrupting the master branch so that at any point another user could clone the master and have working code. The objective is to use branches for developmental features or bug fixes in order to prevent corrupting the master branch itself. The workflow consists of making a new GitLab issue, and then from that issue making a new branch, making the changes to your code, and then pushing it back to that branch with a merge request for the code to be merged inside GitLab. So in order to commit to master, aside from small updates to README and things like the GitLab CI, any changes to the underlying code should be done with merge requests in order to make the code as useful as possible to folks that aren't doing active development. Okay, let's step into a quick demo on how this might actually work using a repository that I'm familiar with. I'm just going to use Monet since there's already some open issues, but we'll go through how to start a new issue and how to make a merge request from that issue. So head on over to the Issues tab. Here you can see some actual issues that I have listed for this project, but we're just going to create a new one called Test. We'll call it test issue, actually. I'll go ahead and assign this to myself, and you'll see there's some other Jira-like features down here where you can add milestones and labels and due dates. From here, I'll hit Submit Issue. And then I'll go back to List, where I should see this test issue. Now I'll click on Test Issue, and I'll click Create Merge Request, and see you have the option to create a merge request and a branch, or just create a branch and then deal with the merge request later. But in this case, we'll do Create Merge Request with the branch. And now I've been kicked automatically over to the Merge Request tab, where I can see the test issue itself and the new branch that I made, which is 7-test issue. From here, in order to do something useful with this, we'll need to make some edits to this code by pulling the branch 7-test issue. So let's do that now. So over in VS Code, I'm in the Monet repository. And however you'd like to do it, I like to use the Git extension. And here I'll do a Git refresh, or Git sync rather. And then I should see at the origin this new 7-test issue. So I'm going to go ahead and check out this branch. In the bottom left, you'll see it says 7-test issue. Let's just make some quick edits to the README so we don't ruin anything about this feature. We'll just say test issue. So there's something tangible to see here. And now that once I'm done editing this code, you can do more than just a README, but for demonstration purposes, I'm just doing the README. I'll go back to Git. I'm going to commit this back to the 7-test issue branch. So in this case, I'll just say test issue commit. And then I'm going to go ahead and commit this with the changes that I've made. And then I'll push it up to GitLab. Now let's head back over to GitLab, where we will go ahead and resolve this issue. So I'm going to go back to the project overview, and you can see under master, there's been no changes. But if I go to the branch's 7-test issue, you can see my test commit as well as the changes to the README all the way down here at the bottom, test issue. So now let's go back to merge request and the draft resolve test issued. And now we can scroll down and take a look at the commits, as well as some of the changes in those commits. Keep in mind, you can see these pipelines are running. It's a good idea to test any changes to your code before you commit them back to master as well. So you can see what I changed in the code specifically. You can see if it failed or passed the pipeline. In this case, it's still running. And then you can see all the commits. So if I had a string of commits to fix this problem, you could go through them one by one if you'd like. So from here, since I'm a maintainer on this repository, I'm getting this little flag here, but I can select it that it's mark as ready. But you saw that it wasn't necessary since I'm a maintainer. And then you also see that it says delete source branch. This means as soon as I commit this issue back to master, it's going to delete the 7-test issue branch. So let's go ahead and click merge when pipeline succeeds. And that just means that it's not going to merge it if that pipeline fails, which I fully expect that pipeline to pass. So let's wait for that to finish, and all right, here we are back at the project overview. And you can see that now that that pipeline's completed, I see in the commit history, there's a merge branch 7-test issue into master. And if you look at that, you can see all the changes that were made, as well as the history of commits. So in this case, the test issue commit that I did inside of that 7-test issue branch shows up now in the master as if I had just made those changes directly to master. Another thing to note is that tags are a really great way of marking spots in your code that are stable, so that if someone else is running your code and having issues, they can roll back to a different version. Using GitLab CI, I have these set to automatically change whenever a version is changed inside the actual underlying Python code, which you can see here. So inside Monet, anytime this version.py changes, GitLab CI will automatically tag the entire repository as well as the containers that are made. And this just means that if someone has issues, they can pull version 0.3.5. The last thing I wanted to point out is that the issue is automatically closed when the merge request is accepted back into the master branch. If there's issues down the road with this merge request, say it doesn't run locally or something like that, you can go back into this commit and revert to a previous version and then make your edits back to that branch and then re-push it back to master as necessary. This has been a quick overview of how to use GitLab issues and merge requests to safely edit your code without clobbering up your master branch. This isn't the only way to do it. However, this is a great way to allow multiple people to work on the same project without causing issues. That's all I have today. Please feel free to reach out with any questions, and thanks for watching.